Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have a neat game called Surviving Mars. It's a real-time strategy survival game about human colonizing Mars. This review is for the basic game only without any DLC to it. So just like any other game of this category, you rely heavily on resources and must plan for the future, specifically maintaining surplus of resources. Resources are split into three categories: essentials, materials, and workforce. This is the way I categorize them myself, by the way. If you hover your mouse over each resource, you can see information like supply and demand. Essential resources are pretty simple. It's electricity, oxygen, and water. Those three resources are fairly easy to gather. For electricity, you can either have solar panels, you can rely on wind, or a Stirling generator. For water, you can even have it directly from Mars, from nodes like this one, or you can just gather it by using a moisture vaporator. As for oxygen, the only way to get it is by using these buildings, which is called Moxie. They generate oxygen for you. Electricity is used everywhere and powers pretty much everything. All the factories, everything you see here, from domes, factories, life support like water, extractors, or Moxies. While oxygen and water are mainly used for food and for the domes to provide oxygen and water for the humans. Water also is used in some other places, like for example, fuel. The second category is materials, and I split it into basic and advanced. The reason why I split them this way is related on how can you gather them. Can you gather them directly, or do they rely on something else, like other materials, or like do they need a human to be involved or not? Also, I took in consideration how fast can you get the material. Is it an early game resource or an end game resource? Basic materials are metal, concrete, food, and rare metals. In addition to fuel, even though it's shown here on the different tab, but I consider this a basic resource because you get it immediately at the start and it only relies on water. While advanced materials are polymers, machine parts, and electronics. Those materials will rely on the basic materials like metal or rare metal and will also require humans to work in the factory. So for example, this electronic shop, it will require all these people to work, and the more people that work, the more production you have. Additionally, you will also need rare metals. The last resource is waste rocks, which are pretty much useless until the end game. The third category of resources is the workforce, which is split into drones and humans. Drones are very important. They act like the nervous system. They are the carriers. They carry items from point A to point B between factories and storage and vice versa. They also build and repair all your buildings, from the smallest things like power lines to domes. Humans live in domes, and they work in advanced places, like farm, advanced material factories, in workshops, and buildings in the dome that serve other humans, like a diner, bars, or a grocer's. Before I move to the next aspect of the game, if you are still watching and you think the information is useful, please like and subscribe. It really keeps me going. Now the next aspect of the game is research, where you can get more technology that either unlock new abilities or building. When you hover over the research points, you can see how much are estimated per soul. Each research will cost a certain amount of research points. So for example, this one will cost 43,000. Based on my production, which is 14,000, I will need about 3 souls to finish that research. You can always get more research points by building research labs and assigning people to it. For example, this one is giving me 580. The game offers a rich amount of researchers that all have really good value. Now that you are familiar with the resource and research, the rest is fairly easy. You just need to build and expand and keep on expanding. There is no end game goal. There are some milestones, like get 1,000 colonists, but even if you have achieved all these milestones, you can still play the game. Of course, to spice things up, the devs have a list of disasters that may happen. First disaster is cold waves, which affect drones' batteries, cause water to freeze, even exterior building if they are not used. The second disaster is dust storm. Dust is a major issue on Mars. All your buildings will require constant maintenance due to dust accumulating on it. Drones can clean them up, but it costs material. For example, this dome will require 2 polymers for the maintenance, while electronic factories will require 2 machine parts. A solar panel will require metal. So during dust storms, both shuttles and rockets will stop working. Also, many buildings might shut down. Pipes and power cables might even experience leaks, which is very dangerous in this game. Sometimes the dust storm might be accompanied by lightning, which could hit buildings, fuel supply, or even people, who will die instantly from it. In the case it hit fuel, all the fuel storage will be burned. So for example, I have 3000 fuel almost here. If a lightning hits here, all of this is burned. The third disaster is meteors, which act like natural bombs on your colony, and they can destroy anything they land on. They cause destruction of buildings or leaks in your pipes or cables. They will also destroy your drones, rovers, or even humans if they land on them. There are other disasters in the DLCs, but I'm not going to go through them as I only played the basic game. At this point of the video, I want to share an advice with you. If you decide to play the game, it is very easy to grow overconfident, and then one disaster could cause major damage to your colony. For example, if a meteor shower hits multiple pipes and cables, and you started leaking energy, water, and oxygen, then many buildings will stop functioning. If the leak takes too long to repair, then the damage might start affecting the domes where your humans live, so they could starve, become dehydrated, or even suffocate to death. Losing humans will set you back greatly, especially at the start of the game since you rely on getting colonists from Earth, and every death takes people away from your pool of candidates. Pool of candidates is accessible here by passenger rockets, and you can see how many candidates I have. Every time a colonist dies, regardless of the reason, you will lose few people from this list. Which means you cannot get more people from Earth for a while, and you still need to deal with the loss of workforce, which will impact your economy. I did play this game on low threat because I wanted to enjoy building and expanding. My landing zone was in this area, so I built my first colony here, and then I created my Eden here, which as you can see it's very far from the first colony. I was planning to fill all the domes in this area, but after beating most of the milestones and having a very strong economy, like as you can see here I have 1000 of resources of everything, and this is a lot by the way. Even humans I have 1400. So I felt like I beat the game already and it's time to move on something else. In conclusion, I really think this game is very solid. I know it's around $30 now on Steam. Also there's a season pass for like $35, which you can experience all the game and all the DLCs. I played for about 17 hours and I enjoyed every bit of it. And I'm looking forward to get back to the game again in the future. And in case I go back in the future, I will probably play it with the DLCs. There are 3 DLCs that caught my eye. The Green Plant, which introduced terraforming and some other buildings and projects. Space Race, which allow you to compete versus AI for milestones. And the third one, it's called Below and Beyond, which let you build underneath the surface. There are a couple other DLCs that are less important, like Project Laika, which introduce animal farms and pets. Another one called Martian Express, which introduced trains to move people and goods. So that's the game in a nutshell. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. It really helps me, and your support will keep me going for the future. I have included my full gameplay. Feel free to watch it if you are interested in seeing the gameplay in general or a specific element of the game. Also leave me a comment below and let me know what do you think of this game. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.